Kuhn, and we are back for another Milk Crate moment. And today my guest is Aidan Koross, and Aidan has a company called Gambitz. But Aidan, what I like to start with is like, what is that Milk Crate moment in your business or from your life that revolved around business? And it could be anything from hiring and
Yeah,
firing to marketing and, oh, holy hell, it's just crazy here. So what's
yeah.
your Milk Crate moment?
So my milk crate moment happened after I decided to go full time into Gambitz. It was around August of last year, 2022. And, I made the decision, talked with my fiance, and we thought it was a great time for me to be able to move into Gambit's full time and take that leap. So I jumped into Gambit's. I left my job, and about a week and a half in, I ended up tearing my Achilles. I was playing tennis and ended up tearing my Achilles. All of a sudden, I had medical bills. I had to get surgery. I was basically going to be bedridden for a month or two, and I was supposed to go into the high school that we were working with to start working with on Gambits and really building out what we're doing. And then that next week, the following week, one of our founders had to kind of take a hiatus from Gambits for logical reasons coming up that he had to take care of, which we completely understood. But I think for me, that was something where I felt like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? It was all over the place. I was sitting in my bed with my leg raised on my computer, figuring out if I just screwed everything up or, do I keep going? It took me probably 2 days of just sitting and just thinking about everything to really be like, you know what, I'd made this decision and I kind of got to go for it. And I think that was the best decision I made. And I think that really proved to myself that, I really do believe in what we're doing at Gambits. And I really wanted to go after it because it was more my passion of what I wanted to do. And I think I've realized over the jobs I've gone through, just with the people I met through my mentors and everything, that it's more important to do what you love and what makes you happy than kind of doing what everyone thinks you're supposed to do. And I
Oh,
think that's the biggest thing that I learned was, and I was proud of myself because I think there was times that I was saying like, okay, maybe I just go back to my old job and, reevaluate everything and kind of go through it. But what I started realizing is I feel like in entrepreneurship is you almost have to expect the worst because you never know what's going to happen. And I think if you think everything is going to go right, that's kind of putting yourself in, I feel like kind of it puts yourself in the mindset that you can't handle when things start going wrong. So I think that made me start realizing is, you know what, I tore my Achilles, all this stuff has happened. At this point, it's like, if things get worse, all I got to do is figure out, okay, how do we adapt? How do I change? Ended up just moving my desk into my bedroom, working from my bed. And it actually was a blessing because I took more time to work on my business than teach tennis, which I was going to do on the side to kind of supplement my income so I could be able to pay for our expenses. And it actually gave me the opportunity to really focus on gambits and get everything going. And I think it was a great kind of, I would say, like a kind of a Kickstarter into getting gambits going. And I got actually very lucky with my recovery. I was only kind of bedridden for 2 weeks, and then I was able to be able to walk in the boot and be able to get back to the school. So I think everything does happen for a reason, and I think I didn't believe that as a kid, but now I'm starting to really believe that everything has a purpose, and you kind of just have to, you kind of have to just go with the flow, and you just have to adapt and change because I think that's the biggest thing in entrepreneurship you need to learn.
I think you're absolutely right. And I used to say that too. I don't believe in coincidences, right? I do believe
Yeah,
everything happens and not, I always believe everything happens the way it's supposed to happen, right?
yeah,
So whether it's good or bad, that's what's supposed to happen. And it's how we as entrepreneurs, and also I sometimes feel like we're being tested by the Almighty to say, hey, are you really all in? Right? Because I'm
yeah,
gonna tear your Achilles, right? I'm gonna
yeah.
put you down for 2 weeks. Were you on some heavy pain meds as well?
No, so I got very lucky. I had an amazing surgeon who was a family friend that did an amazing job. I didn't have to do any painkillers. I was just on Advil, which was amazing. So I think that I think I was very lucky with the recovery. I think
Great.
the recovery couldn't have gone better than it did. So
Yeah.
it's your point. It's like, I think things happen for a reason. And I think that was kind of a test, like my first test of like, all right, are you really in this? Because
Ex-
at the end of the day, people think it's going to be success right away, but it's not. It's going to take time. It's going to take grinding. It's going to take falling down more times than you stand up, and all it takes is that one time you stand up to get things really going.
Uh, I think that's why entrepreneurs are so much like professional gamblers, right? We're only
Yeah.
looking for that one time, right? Except
Hmm.
it's costing us probably more money than the gambler spending, right? To
Yeah.
create what we're looking to
Yeah.
create. Well, I'm glad that
Yeah.
you didn't have to be on pain meds for that. When I had my knee replaced in 2016, and
Hmm.
I was on 6 weeks of pain, so hard narcotics,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it was extremely difficult for me to I could do my coaching calls from the couch, right? But here's what
Hmm.
happened. I thought they were amazing as they were happening. At the end of
Yeah.
those calls, I couldn't remember what I talked about. I couldn't remember
Yeah.
the advice I gave them. It was
Yeah.
just crazy. So I'm so happy though that that was really for you. You learned that lesson though so quickly. I wish I'd learned that lesson at your age.
Yeah, I think, I feel like I've learned it, but I think that's the other thing I love about entrepreneurship is that you're always learning and you never perfect. And I think that's the biggest thing that we've done with Gambits is with the app that we've built is at least this first version that's going to be a resource for entrepreneurs and kind of centralizing all that information so that you're not spending all the time looking for this information is with our app. Our goal is to be updating it and adding new things every Friday, because the biggest thing is things are changing rapidly in the entrepreneurship world. New marketing tools, new financial tools, new strategies to use, recessions coming or things are going downhill. And I think that's the biggest thing is as an entrepreneur, you have to kind of learn that you're never going to know everything. And it's I think it's kind of bittersweet because it's like then you're always learning. I feel like when I was in my other job, it was more of like at one point you kind of can do it in your sleep, and you're not really feeling like pushed to learn more things. But like now that I've been in my doing everything with Gambits, is like every day I'm like, okay, how do we get better? How do we what else do we have to add? What are other people doing? What competition is out there? And it's like a nonstop, but it's very like I think it's so exciting too because it's a never-ending cycle of just uh, uncertainty, but at the same time, it's learning. And I think that's the biggest thing is like just understand you're going to learn unbelievable amount of information from the experience you do, whether or not that company succeeds or not. And I
Well,
think that's what a lot of people think is you put everything into one company and you don't if it doesn't work, you stop and you feel like you failed. And I can tell you I've started multiple businesses with my fiance and they've all, I guess, failed, as people could say, but I've learned so much over that time that's been able to help me with Gambits,
oh
which has
my
been
gosh.
amazing.
Yeah, you'll learn so much more from a failure than you ever will from a success. But let's take a minute and really talk about what
Yeah.
Gambitz is, right? So I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask you, what is Gambitz?
So Gambits is going to be a mobile inclusive incubator. So our goal is we're trying to create a inclusive incubator that anyone can join through subscription base and through be able to access it from your phone. So we have our first app that we just launched, which is going to be it's called Gambits and it's kind of Gambits EDU. So basically what we've done is when you want to start a business, it's you're searching the internet for all the information. You're trying to find out, okay, how do I start a business? How do I build a business plan? How do I find my target market? How do I do all these things? And if you type into Google how to start a business, it's overwhelming the amount of different links and the amount of different resources you see, especially for a new entrepreneur that's never maybe done business before. So our goal is taking all that information and grabbing the ones that you need to know to be able to at least create a good foundation to your business. Because I think a lot of businesses fail because they don't have that strong foundation, understanding your financials, understanding your target market, who is your user persona, all those aspects of it. So ours is like really taking it down to the very, very beginning aspects of your company and saying, okay, let's build out the strongest framework for your business, and then you can start experimenting with more things. So like our the best analogy I have is like, you want to build a very strong frame for your house, and if you make a great framework for the house, then you can add on to it and keep building off it. If the framework is weak to the house, it's going to collapse as you add more and more things to it. So our whole thing is, how can we build the strongest foundation for your business in the beginning so that it can how would you say, adapt to the growth that your business may have, or be able to adapt to even challenges that you face with the business. So that's kind of what the first app is that we've made and now that's launched. And then second app that we're working on is now teaching, incorporating AI and also incorporating tools to help entrepreneurs be able to streamline their business. I think now the launching of these AI systems and chat GPT, people don't, I think entrepreneurs don't realize that this is an unbelievable resource that they could use to be able to cut a lot of costs. It can help you create business plans. It can help you create marketing strategies. It can help you make your, let's say your Instagram descriptions, your Facebook descriptions in such a short amount of time. And time is the most valuable thing, I think, for entrepreneurs. Is there's not enough hours in the day, and if anything can save you 30, 40, 50 minutes, it's a massive, massive, how would you say, plus to being able to help your business. So that's our goal, is to create that second app that we're working on now. And then the final stage of Gambit is then being able to connect early stage entrepreneurs with angel investors. So starting being able to connect them through mobile competitions, virtual competitions, so that these people have a little bit more access to resources and to money, as that's probably the main reason most companies either fail or don't even get off the ground, is because they don't have the capital to back it.
I think that's the number one reason why small business owners don't make it to start with, is because they're so undercapitalized when they
Hmm.
do start. That, and
Hmm.
that's across the board. I mean, very few businesses do I ever see come to the table with enough capital, because it's
Hmm.
always double or triple what you think you're going to need. And
Hmm.
then you show up and it's like, okay, I've burned through all my money and I don't have anything lined up there past that. So
Hmm.
yeah, I think you're absolutely
Yeah.
right
and I
about
think that's and I think that's also why we were really big on gambits and building the framework, because we think a lot of these money troubles, we've started to realize, are coming from not building a strong foundation to the business in the beginning, and then you're using all the money, and all of a sudden, like to your point, you come to one point, you're like, wow, we're completely out of money.
Mhm.
And you could actually look at, if you would look back at things, you would be like, oh, we didn't need to spend money on this, or we didn't need to spend money on this yet. And I think that is more from not having that strong foundation and understanding of the steps that you need to do as you build the business from nothing to the point of, okay, now we're ready to really start executing everything.
I personally have, because of what I do, and
Hmm.
what I've done, is I personally believe the very first thing a small business owner should do is find a good mentor, right?
Hmm.
So that they should find somebody to show them the ropes, because you will invest so much less money, even though it seems like a lot of money to start with. You'll
Hmm.
invest so much more. You will lose a lot less money, and you'll save more money, having somebody who can guide you through that. Even though we are moving at pretty fast rates, I mean, those of us who have been in business for a long time have seen, what's happened in the past, how things have turned out, and where we're at now, and seeing that history really does kind of repeat itself, just with different marketing
Yeah.
avenues at this point, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Exactly.
I love it.
Exactly.
So it sounds like the Gambit app is something like that, right? It's to help
Yeah,
them.
that's our goal, is to really it's to help early stage entrepreneurs, as well as inspire other people to look at entrepreneurship as a avenue to go. And it doesn't mean that you have to quit your job and do this and do that. You can always do side businesses, side hustles. Like, I think people after COVID, people have realized that one source of income is not suitable anymore, because you really don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if one day, and especially now as we're seeing all these layoffs that the tech companies are doing, is it's smart to have something as a backup plan or something that's in place that at least can make some type of money for you if something goes wrong. Because at the end of the day, you know, you don't have control whether you get fired or not from your job. It doesn't matter. You could be the best employee ever, but if things need to be cut and you just happen to be in that area, you're going to be cut. Because
Right.
I know hundreds of people that gotten cut and they were unbelievable employees, but at the end of the day, it's, you know, they have to be able to make the cuts that they need to, and sometimes you just fall into that category, whether you're, you know, an outstanding performer or not.
Well, having been an entrepreneur for the last 38 years, when I wanted to change businesses, I replaced my income from what was paying the mortgage and paying the, helping pay bills. I replaced that before I left it or before I
Yeah.
sold it, right?
Hmm.
Because but once one I do think a side hustle or is a great business loan for you when you're starting a new business.
Yeah. Yeah,
Meaning
I think.
keeping your job until you can replace your income on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's also an interesting thing that I learned from one of my mentors is he told me, he's like, sometimes you have to, the job that you're in to make the money so that you can start your business, you sometimes have to try to find a job that helps support you trying to start this business. I think a lot of people will be in a job that is taking, you know, takes 10 hours out of their day. If it takes 10 hours out of your day, how are you going to even start this other company that you want to do? So you kind of have to take little risks here and there and be like, okay, maybe I'm not going to take this job, but I'm going to take this job because it's going to give me more time to focus and build out this company that I want to do. And I think that's kind of like some things that people have to realize is you can't start a company and everything be perfect in your life.
Yeah.
Something has to give. And I think that's the biggest thing is people want to have, they want to keep the life that they've been having forever, or they've been doing this or doing that. And, you know, if you can do that, I applaud you. I think that's amazing. But from every entrepreneur I met, every mentor I've met, everyone has told me like there's something that has to give. You know, you might not be able to go out as much as you used to. You might not be able to hang out with your friends as much as you wanted to. But you have to kind of remember is like what you're trying to build is something that you're very passionate about. And in the long run, it's worth it. You have to be able to understand that, okay, I have to give up a little something. There's
Right.
something that has to give. As much as you want everything to be perfect, and as much as I will hope everything can be perfect for people, we're hoping Gambits at least helps people's lives a little bit more so that they're not giving up too much. You still have to understand that you're going to have to give up a little bit of things, and you're going to have to be able to not have the life you want for maybe a couple years or so because you want to build this out, but you have to understand in the long run you're going to be 10 times happier knowing that you put everything into it and it was able to create something that you really love to do.
Right. You have to be willing to live today like nobody else wants to, so you
Hmm.
can live tomorrow like nobody else can.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? I love it.
I
Hey,
think that's a great one.
I know you have something for everybody.
Hmm.
Let's drop that in there right now. So tell us a little bit about what this is.
Okay, so this is the web version of our Gambit's app. So this is so that you can log on to it over the computer. You can also be able to download it on the App Store or Google Play. It's just under as Gambitz. You just look up Gambitz, Gambitz, and it'll pop up on both Google Play and the App Store, as well as you'll be able to access the app from the website link in there as well. So that's what we've loved about creating, you know, Gambits is now it's not only on your phone, it can be on your computer, but I think a lot of entrepreneurs nowadays, as you learn, is you're on the go 24/7. Either you're running to your job or you're running to a meeting or you're on the train or you're in an Uber, and to be able to have access to resources and your stuff that you're doing your business is, you know, we all live on our phone now. As much as people try to say, you know, don't use your phone as much, I think once you become an entrepreneur, you're on your phone probably 5 times more, but it's in a different way. So like I think I'm on Instagram and Facebook more than I ever have been before, but now I'm looking at it a different way. I'm on Instagram and Facebook looking for competitors, looking for opportunities, looking for startup companies to, work with, and looking for other entrepreneurs to do it. So I'm using it in a different way, but I'm definitely on it way more than I was ever on it before.
Love it. Aidan, thank you so much for being here today and sharing
Yeah,
Gambits
thank you.
with everybody. I can't wait to see where you go with this company, and
Yeah.
wait. I'm waiting for the next level to come.
Yeah,
So
me too. I'm excited.
yeah, thanks so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. All right. See ya.